Australia has long been a symbol of opportunity and prosperity, a nation that has drawn immigrants from across the globe with the promise of a superior quality of life, economic stability, and a safe environment to build a future. For decades, its reputation as a multicultural and inclusive society has been a cornerstone of its appeal. Immigrants have flocked to Australia, contributing significantly to its social fabric, economic growth, and cultural diversity. The phenomenon of immigrant departures from Australia is not a simple narrative but a multifaceted issue influenced by economic pressures, policy complexities, societal challenges, and global competition. This analysis seeks to uncover the underlying causes of this shift, exploring the historical context of immigration, current trends, and the broader implications for Australia's future. By examining these dynamics, we can better understand what is driving this exodus and what steps might be taken to address the challenges. Australia's history is deeply intertwined with immigration, which has been a driving force behind its development as a nation. From the early days of European settlement, immigration policies have shaped the country's population and economy. After World War II, Australia embarked on an ambitious immigration program designed to boost its population and labor force. This initiative was critical in rebuilding the nation's economy and addressing workforce shortages. The slogan, "Populate or Perish," encapsulated the urgency of this effort, which prioritized bringing in European migrants, particularly from the United Kingdom, Italy, and Greece. The 1970s marked a turning point in Australia's immigration history with the dismantling of the White Australia policy. This shift toward inclusivity opened the doors to immigrants from Asia, Africa, and the Middle East, transforming Australia into one of the most multicultural societies in the world. Policies like the General Skilled Migration (GSM) scheme further underscored the government's focus on attracting skilled workers who could contribute to the economy. By 2021, nearly 30% of Australia's population was born overseas, a testament to the success of these policies. However, the success of Australia's immigration story has not been without challenges. The growing diversity of the population has highlighted issues related to integration, discrimination, and social cohesion. These challenges, coupled with evolving economic and policy landscapes, have contributed to the current trend of immigrant departures. Current migration trends. Australia's migration patterns have always been dynamic, characterized by the interplay between arrivals and departures. In recent years, however, the balance has shifted. Data from the Australian Bureau of Statistics reveals that 221,000 immigrants left Australia during the 2023-24 financial year, representing an 8% increase from the previous year. This trend is particularly concerning given the country's reliance on immigration to sustain population growth and economic vitality. The COVID-19 pandemic played a significant role in disrupting migration patterns. Border closures and travel restrictions left many temporary visa holders stranded, unable to return to Australia or reunite with their families. These disruptions created uncertainties that continue to influence migration decisions. Even as global mobility resumes, Australia faces mounting competition from other countries that have adopted more appealing immigration policies and pathways to permanent residency. Factors driving the exodus. One of the most significant factors influencing immigrant departures is the rising cost of living in Australia. Over the past decade, the cost of essentials such as housing, food, and energy has increased dramatically, placing immense pressure on household budgets. The housing market, in particular, has been a major source of frustration for many immigrants. Property prices in cities like Sydney and Melbourne have reached staggering levels, often exceeding global benchmarks. For families hoping to achieve financial stability and home ownership, these challenges can be disheartening. The economic challenges faced by immigrants extend beyond housing. Australia's economy, while resilient, has experienced periods of stagnation in household disposable income and per capita growth. For many immigrants, these economic realities contradict the perception of Australia as a land of opportunity. Immigrants often face significant barriers in the job market, including the non-recognition of overseas qualifications, underemployment, and workplace discrimination. These challenges are particularly pronounced for women and individuals from non-English speaking backgrounds, who often struggle to find employment that aligns with their skills and qualifications. Australia's immigration policies, while designed to attract skilled workers, are often criticized for their complexity and lack of transparency. The pathway to permanent residency can be fraught with bureaucratic hurdles, leaving many immigrants in a state of uncertainty. Temporary visa holders face additional challenges, as restrictive conditions limit their opportunities for career advancement and long-term settlement. The country's approach to asylum seekers and refugees has also drawn criticism, with mandatory detention policies and prolonged processing times tarnishing Australia's reputation as a welcoming destination. Social integration remains a critical challenge for many immigrants in Australia. Despite the country's multicultural identity, systemic issues such as discrimination and cultural misunderstandings persist. Immigrants from non-Western backgrounds often report experiences of prejudice in employment, education, and social interactions, which can undermine their sense of belonging. Language barriers further complicate integration efforts, particularly for older immigrants and those from regions with limited English proficiency. While community programs and support services aim to address these issues, their effectiveness is often limited by resource constraints and inconsistent implementation. The global landscape of migration has also shifted, with countries like Canada, New Zealand, and Germany implementing competitive immigration policies that emphasize clear pathways to permanent residency and citizenship. For many immigrants, these alternatives offer more predictable outcomes and better alignment with their long-term goals. The United States and the United Kingdom also continue to attract skilled workers, leveraging factors such as larger economies, established diasporas, and educational opportunities. As global competition intensifies, Australia faces the challenge of maintaining its appeal as a destination of choice. The role of housing in immigrant departures. Housing affordability remains one of the most critical challenges facing immigrants in Australia. Urban centres such as Sydney, Melbourne, and Brisbane, which are primary destinations for immigrants, have seen a sharp increase in property prices and rental costs. This trend has created significant financial strain for many families, particularly those who arrived with limited resources or without established support networks. The supply-demand imbalance in the housing market exacerbates these challenges. Despite government initiatives to increase housing stock, the rate of new construction has often lagged behind population growth. Immigrants, who typically settle in urban areas with better job prospects, face intense competition for housing, leading to inflated rental prices and limited availability. For temporary visa holders, the situation is even more precarious, as they often lack the financial stability or credit history required to secure long-term housing. The dream of homeownership, a key motivator for many immigrants, has become increasingly unattainable. High property prices, combined with stringent mortgage requirements, leave many families unable to invest in their future. This frustration often leads to a sense of disillusionment, prompting some to explore alternative destinations where housing is more affordable and opportunities for stability are greater. Economic pressures and workforce challenges. Australia's economic landscape presents a mixed picture for immigrants. While the nation boasts a relatively strong economy, certain structural issues have made it difficult for some immigrants to achieve their financial goals. The job market, for example, presents significant barriers to entry, particularly for those with qualifications obtained overseas. Despite possessing high levels of education and expertise, many immigrants find their credentials undervalued or unrecognized, forcing them to accept roles below their skill level. Underemployment is a persistent issue, with many skilled immigrants working in low-wage or part-time positions that do not align with their qualifications. This mismatch not only limits their earning potential but also hinders their ability to contribute fully to the economy. Workplace discrimination and biases further compound these challenges, creating additional hurdles for immigrants seeking to establish themselves professionally. The economic pressures extend beyond employment. Rising costs of living, stagnant wages, and limited access to affordable childcare make it difficult for immigrant families to achieve financial security. For many, the reality of life in Australia falls short of their expectations, leading them to reassess their options and, in some cases, return to their home countries or move to alternative destinations with better prospects. Policy complexities and immigration pathways. Australia's immigration policies, while robust in their design, often present a labyrinth of complexities for applicants. The pathway to permanent residency, a critical milestone for many immigrants, is fraught with challenges. Stringent eligibility criteria, lengthy processing times, and frequent policy changes create uncertainty for those navigating the system. Temporary visa holders, in particular, face significant hurdles, as their status often comes with restrictions on employment, travel, and access to social services. The lack of transparency in the immigration process further exacerbates these issues. Applicants often find themselves caught in a cycle of uncertainty, unsure of whether their efforts will result in a favorable outcome. This unpredictability can be emotionally and financially draining, leading some immigrants to abandon their aspirations of settling in Australia. Australia's approach to asylum seekers and refugees has also been a point of contention. Policies such as mandatory detention and offshore processing have drawn widespread criticism from human rights organizations. These measures not only tarnish Australia's international reputation but also discourage potential immigrants from viewing the country as a welcoming and inclusive destination. Global competition and emerging destinations. The global migration landscape has become increasingly competitive, with countries like Canada, New Zealand, and Germany offering attractive alternatives to Australia. These nations have implemented immigration policies that prioritize clear pathways to permanent residency and citizenship, making them appealing destinations for skilled workers and families. Canada, for example, has gained international recognition for its express entry system, which streamlines the immigration process and provides transparency in decision-making. New Zealand's emphasis on work-life balance and family-friendly policies has also made it a popular choice for immigrants seeking a high quality of life. Germany, with its strong economy and robust support for integration, has emerged as a key destination for skilled professionals. In contrast, Australia's immigration policies are often perceived as more restrictive and less predictable. The lack of clarity and consistency in policy implementation can deter potential immigrants, particularly those who have viable alternatives. As global competition intensifies, Australia faces the challenge of maintaining its appeal in a crowded field. Long-term implications for Australia. The departure of immigrants has profound implications for Australia's future. Economically, a decline in immigrant retention could exacerbate labor shortages in critical sectors such as healthcare, technology, and education. Immigrants play a vital role in driving innovation, entrepreneurship, and workforce growth, and their absence could hinder Australia's ability to compete in a globalized economy. Demographically, reduced immigration could lead to an aging population and declining workforce participation. These trends would place additional strain on public services such as healthcare and social security, creating challenges for policymakers. Culturally, the loss of immigrants could diminish Australia's diversity and weaken its multicultural identity, reducing the richness of perspectives and experiences that contribute to social cohesion. The increasing trend of immigrant departures from Australia reflects a complex interplay of economic, social, and policy-related factors. To address this phenomenon, Australia must take proactive steps to improve housing affordability, enhance labor market integration, simplify immigration pathways, and promote social inclusion. By fostering an environment that balances opportunity with inclusivity, Australia can reaffirm its position as a global leader in attracting and retaining talent. Thank you for watching.